The Cellar.
So, I don't normally make content like this, but I felt like I needed to make a video diving into something that I highly recommend to all of my amazing subscribers, and that would be Season 4 of True Detective, dubbed Night Country. Now, I'm a huge fan of the first season. The writing from Nick Pizzolatto was top-notch, and every episode was directed by Cary Joji Fukunaga. Fukunaga brought this dirty, unique feel to the first season that was sorely missing in Season 2 of True Detective. I also can't talk about Season 1 without mentioning the all-star cast, in particular, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. Now, what some of you may not remember is that back in 2014, high-profile actors were far less inclined to head from the big screen to do a television series. So when True Detective Season 1 dropped, it was a big deal that these high-profile actors were starring in a television show. On top of that, you also had great supporting cast of Michelle Monaghan, Michael Potts, Tori Kittles. When people look back on great seasons of television, True Detective Season 1 is typically at the top of many people's list. It was the perfect storm of writing, acting, and a director who had a vision to put all the pieces together into something special for all of us viewers. Season 2 also had a star-studded cast with Vince Vaughn, Colin Farrell, and Rachel McAdams. I personally enjoyed Season 2. I know the second season gets a lot of flack, especially from the die-hard fans of the first season, but at the end of the day, it was always going to be hard to find lightning in a bottle twice. If you've never seen the show at all, I want to give a little context in that each season was to star a different cast of characters in a different place in the world with a brand new storyline. Nick Pizzolatto would return for Season 2, but without Fukunaga directing the show, it didn't quite live up to the extremely high expectations that were set upon it. But I do want to make it very clear that yes, Season 2 does not live up to Season 1, but in no way is it a bad show. The acting is still strong on every front, with Colin Farrell giving a brilliant performance alongside Rachel McAdams, and Vince Vaughn's dramatic chops were on full display as well. Now, being a fan of the series, I've rewatched Season 1 numerous times. When I heard that there'd be a Season 4, I was pretty excited, especially seeing that a legend like Jodie Foster would be starring in it. Now, I want to say that I have not watched Season 3. From everything I've read, it's reportedly a great season that was seen as being much stronger than Season 2. I had numerous plans to sit down and watch Season 3 over the last couple of years, but I simply never pulled the trigger on it. But let's get to the point of today's video. Season 4, True Detective, Night Country. The title of this video is The Cellar Recommends, so clearly just from reading that, you know where my stance is with this new season of True Detective. So far, 3 episodes have dropped, and me and my wife have been having a great time with this show. After watching episodes 1 and 2, we were patiently counting down the days until another new episode dropped. To me, that's one of the first signs that a show is great, when it manages to pull you in and have you desperately waiting for the next episode. For me, the last show that had me pulled in like that was probably House of the Dragon Season 1. So already, high praise in my book. Now, on the channel, I cover all kinds of topics from true crime, horrible fates, scary stories, and unbelievable tales of survival. Being that this show dives into a dark and terrifying case within Alaska, I figured it'd be right up everyone's alley to want to watch something like this. I want to give you all a quick synopsis of what this season is about. The season is set in a fictional town of Ennis, Alaska, and follows the investigation behind the disappearance of 8 men from a research station. The season stars Jodie Foster and Callie Reese as detectives Liz Danvers and Evangeline Navarro. Issa Lopez serves as showrunner, writer, and director for the entire season. It is the first season without Nick Pizzolatto as showrunner or writer. Now, in talking about the season, I wanted to make sure not to dive into any spoilers. But the show is set within a harsh, cold, barren town called Ennis, which is located in Alaska. The overall setting and feel of the show really harkens back to John Carpenter's The Thing and the highly underrated 30 Days of Night. The show starts on the first day of total darkness in this region of the world. The town in the show is fictional in nature, but I did look up and find that there is a town like Ennis in Alaska. That town is Barrow, which is the northernmost village in the state of Alaska. In Barrow, there is no daylight for 64 days in the heart of winter. So as I said, the show begins on the last sunset of the year for the town. We are quickly introduced to a bunch of characters that are living within a very isolated Arctic research station. It doesn't take long before something sinister occurs, and all the men in the research station are found to have disappeared. We then meet Chief Danvers, played by Jodie Foster, and Trooper Navarro, played by Callie Reese, as well as numerous supporting characters. As the story progresses, we find out about an unsolved murder of a native woman that transpired years earlier, and how it's connected with the missing men in the research station. I don't want to dive into too much more as far as details, but there is an unsettling feeling about everything that has transpired. There's also a paranormal aspect to this season that makes you question a lot of what is going on. Is there something paranormal or out of this world at hand? Or is there a more logical answer to everything that has happened so far? I absolutely love the way the show displays a ton of questions for us as the audience to really sink our teeth into. It left me watching with bated breath to see what clues or pieces of information I could obtain out of every scene. Now, I do want to say that episodes 1 and 2 really feel like the pace is constantly moving, while episode 3 allows the story time to breathe and allows space for the characters to interact and really flesh out who they are and what motivates each and every one of them. Another high point for me with the season is the dialogue. The way the characters interact with each other feels real. The characters don't talk endlessly about nonsense just to give the audience answers or fill in the gaps on things. Conversations start and end where they should, which in some ways can drive you crazy as a viewer, because you are craving answers to numerous questions. But just enough is sprinkled into every interaction that as a viewer, if you're paying close attention, you can slowly slide the puzzle pieces into place. As I said prior, the way the show is directed is fantastic. You really get a sense of the harsh reality of the unforgiving Alaskan way of living. The fact that there's never any sunlight really brings back memories of 30 Days of Night. While the scenes within the Arctic Research Station, as well as a particular scene that shows the death of a character, really brings back memories of The Thing. I was stunned to see that the show is only going to be 6 episodes long. Being that I'm already through the 3 episodes released, I do hope that the rest of the season is able to stick the landing, so to speak. But thus far, 3 episodes in, the show has been fantastic. Also, a positive about the short episode length is that if you were hesitant to give the show a chance, well, you don't have to sit down for 10 to 20 episodes to get to the conclusion of this story. So in closing, I can't recommend the show more than I already have. The directing, writing, acting has all been fantastic, and you really feel like these are fully fleshed out characters that live a difficult life in a small, isolated town in Alaska. One last little tidbit I will add is that if you are a fan of Season 1, there are some connections made to that season within this new season of the show. I don't ultimately know where those connections will take us, but I've enjoyed theorizing and diving back into Season 1 to see if there's anything else that I can piece together. So, those are my thoughts. Please let me know what yours are in the comments section below. Have you been watching the show already? If you have, I would love to hear what you think thus far. As I always say, thank you for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoy the content, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel continue to grow. Also, you can check the description box below and find the link to my merch store. Tons of awesome designs, and the proceeds help fund the channel. For those of you that are interested, I have a Cellar Dwellers membership tier for the channel. It's $2.99 a month and comes with some pretty cool perks. So if that interests you, then please go check it out. I also have that linked in the description box below. If you'd like to submit a real-life scary story that you would like featured on an episode on the channel, please do so using the email that is linked in the description box below. As always, I do all the research, writing, recording, and editing for the channel myself, so anything you do to support the channel is greatly appreciated. Until next time, I will see you all again as we head back into the cellar.